Indiana's the 10th winningest program in the history of college basketball. They probably won almost as many national titles or played in as many Final Fours as anybody. From you grow up, when you're born in Indiana, they give you a basketball while you're at the hospital. You have you have a basketball in your crib, before you start talking. Your teething ring is a basketball. They are the most knowledgeable basketball fans that you've ever seen. And their college teams reflect that. Notre Dame, Purdue, Butler, University of Indiana. So my point is that we're going into an atmosphere that's very ACC-like. So these types of games can't do anything but help us. And you take into consideration what we are in terms of a team with 6 first-year guys, 2 veterans returning, 4 sophomores that we're trying to integrate into a system and hopefully prepare ourselves for a real tough ACC race. There's no doubt that they're well coached. They have 4 guys shooting close to 40% from 3. They got a freshman in Davis that's already had 4 double-doubles. They got a 7-foot kid that transferred in. I think it's a graduate student. That's an older, more mature guy that they're playing the ball through. I think his name is Burns, I believe. So this is a typical ACC type game, with the exception of they're going to have probably one of the best home courts in the history of college basketball. So we are clear. We have a clear understanding of what we're up against. And to go into this type of environment in relation to where we are, we're going to have to be at our best in order to come away with a victory. Early on, we played some teams where we could make some mistakes and they were not capable of making us pay for them, but that won't be the case here. They're 7-0. They played all their home games, all their games at home. They're very comfortable. I'm sure they've gained some confidence as a result of averaging close to 90 points a game. So this is, but it's a game that we need. We need this type of game early to help us grow.
What do you think after 8 games, and maybe even specifically this weekend? Do you have what is your team's identity? It seems like you're really good defensively.
Well, we play very hard. We defend and we play unselfish. Now, that's okay, but when you go 1 for 17, you get out rebounded by 15. We have maybe a little too many turnovers. That's evident that we still are trying to smooth things out. You know what I mean? How many times can you win a game and get out rebounded by 15 and shoot 1 for 17 from 3? And the game prior to us going down, I think we went 12 or 13, 14 threes and shot very close. We shot 50%. That means that we're inconsistent and we're up and down. But I think Tennessee and Purdue credit them. They were very much aware that we shot the ball very well prior to going down there, so they defended us. We didn't get a whole lot of uncontested shots. They were right there on top of us.
When's the last time you coached up there at Indiana? I assume you haven't at some point.
Well, Indiana was one of my game preparations when I was at the University of Kentucky. But I go way back with the Indiana tradition. My first job was at Austin Peay State University. And Coach Knight, in my opinion, was, he was the man in college basketball. He had a little book. I remember it was a defensive book. It was more like a pamphlet than a book. It wasn't very thick, but it was red. It was a red book. And I don't know, that was a symbol on it, and I can't really remember what it was. It was something. And I had 2 books that I read a lot of. One was the Bible, and the other one was his defensive book. And so and I can remember as a grad student, just looking at that book and reading and hanging all my defensive thoughts on everything that I read. I worked for a guy named Lake Kelly who's also a disciple of Bobby Knight's from defensive philosophy. And so I was very familiar with that. And then going to Kentucky from Austin Peay, and that being one of Kentucky's biggest rivals, and then have to go into that facility and see the angled seats that you go there, the 17,222, particularly having the product going unsold in that arena, a season ticket probably the last 50, 60, 70 years. People in Indiana think that's the birthplace of basketball, not Kansas. So, Dr. Naismith. So, this is it's a unique and special opportunity for us to play against a real good team on the road this early in the season. But I think the fact that they have such a storied history and tradition, it puts a added flavor onto the game that I'm not even really sure our players will understand, be able to relate to the history of college basketball as it relates to the University of Indiana.